As we've been talking about, there is increasingly little doubt that the House Republicans are very much the villain. For more on this, I'm joined now by Democratic Congressman Jim Moran of Virginia. Congressman, great to see you again.
Well, it's great to see you, and I enjoyed the introduction.
Absolutely.
I got a chance to talk for a little bit with the president yesterday.
Yeah.
He dropped by a working-class neighborhood in my congressional district to pick up some pizza. But, you know, he's not in a happy mood. He wants to be with his family for Christmas, which is where he ought to be. But I got to tell you, he's standing tall and tough on this, which is because he's our leader.
Yeah, and
a leader does.
And a lot of things are changing here, Congressman. Just within the last 24 hours, I want to share a tweet that we have just got a hold of from John Boehner, the Speaker. And this is about him floating that word quarterly this morning. I'm not sure if you saw his briefing, but he's alluding to how businesses, small businesses specifically, that he was talking about, do their accounting on a quarterly basis. And then he tweeted this just within the last hour. He said this, quote, "The Senate bill only goes for 2 months, but businesses send in their taxes every 3. So employers will face costly reporting requirements." Now, this echoes what he said more. This also echoes what was said by one of the negotiators on CNBC. Is this the latest trial balloon that they're putting up?
Well, it is. And typically, John sees life through the eyes of the business community. There's nothing wrong with that, but the president sees this issue through the eyes of working-class Americans. So we had a tweet today from somebody in a very different position, a young mother who told us that $40 is what it costs her for infant formula for her children. And because she had the payroll tax cut last year, she's been able to save up enough now to buy Christmas gifts for her children. It seems to me that's what's most important. Now, if John wants to change that from 2 months to 3 months, that's just fine. Nobody's going to object to that.
Okay. So you're saying that you would sign off on that, Congressman?
Well, of course. We're going to sign off on anything that's in the best interests of working-class Americans. You mentioned that their average income, it's $55,000. It was $61,000 before in 2000 when the Bush administration took over. They've lost income, and the president is trying to restore a little bit of their purchasing power so we can get this economy back on its feet. That's what this is all about.
And, Congressman, they also say it's up to $2,200 that will be lost for those households that make over $120,000. So this is real money for families across the country. Another one of those trial balloons was Leader McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, and what he said. And I shared with folks at the top of this introduction, the top of the hour here, he was alluding to how he was open to, at least for now, from what we're hearing, to looking at another option, and that is to say that they should sign off on the House bill right now. That's what he was saying. On the flip side, that the president should then sit down and discuss the 1-year extension separate of that. Now, that's also different than what the Speaker has been saying.
Well, absolutely. You know, Mitch is a pro. Senator McConnell is a pro. He wants to get things done. He understands that politics is the art of compromise. But the House Republicans seem to be somewhat leaderless and rudderless. You know, this week, Rosalind Hildeman of the Washington Post reported that they spent most of their time invoking the image of William Wallace in Braveheart, saying, hold, 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 hold. So they all got excited about themselves holding from the payroll tax cut. Of course, the fallacy in that is that Wallace and his countrymen were fighting for the rights of the peasants who were being exploited by the elite nobility. And, of course, they might also reflect on the fact that they all got massacred and their leader was drawn and quartered. I obviously don't wish that for my friend John Boehner, but this may not come to a good end for them, particularly when the Republicans are so divided. And clearly, Senator McConnell knows what he's doing and is trying to get the Republicans on the right side of the issue.
And, Congressman, they're saying the optics aren't good. That's what you're saying, too, which really sort of hints towards the relationship between Majority Leader Eric Cantor and Speaker Boehner. Much in the past, you know, it's been tough for them. It's been an uneasy relationship, shall we say, at times. What do you think here? When we look at Cantor, your fellow Virginian here, as he starts to pile on perhaps on Speaker Boehner, what is this like? What is the relationship at the moment?
You know, it would be presumptuous of me to suggest to the House Republican leadership, but gosh sakes, if you've chosen a leader, when he makes a deal with the president, you ought to support him. When he makes a deal with the Senate Majority Leader, Mr. McConnell, you ought to support him. And instead, they don't. And apparently, from what I understand, Eric Cantor is with those who undermine the leadership of the Speaker. And you know, that's not going to come to any good end. The fact is that the position of the House Republicans has been rejected by a majority of the Senate Republicans. And now they have a bipartisan compromise where the majority of Senate Republicans supported it. And they can't come up with the votes to pass it. I mean, who speaks for the Republican Party? And clearly it's none of the House Republican presidential candidates, because they don't know where they are. They're trying to figure out what direction the political wind is blowing in. So I don't know who speaks for the Republican Party. I do know who speaks for the American people, though, and that is our leader, President Obama.
Congressman Jim Moran, thank you as always. Good to see you.